hello and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, thanks so much for being here today. Well, we're going to highlight the Estuary, which is based in Old Saybrook, Connecticut, and Stan Mingione is my guest today, the executive director. And Stan, thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks, Deborah. Thanks for having me on and talking about the Estuary.
And a wonderful announcement that the Estuary, has become a sponsor of the show, so yes. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you again.
You know what? I get the newsletter because I used to be a gym member, and there's your whole front of the newsletter talks about you,
yes.
And an opening, if you will, and an embrace of the friends of the Estuary. Yes. And it talked about you and your background as well as your beekeeping. So why don't we talk about you first?
Sure.
Tell us about yourself.
Okay, so I've been at the Estuary for 17 years. 12 of those 17, I was the controller, so responsible for the financials and the money aspect of the organization. The last 5, I've been executive director. I've been honored and privileged to be at the head of the organization for those 5 years. It's been a somewhat of an interesting 5 years with COVID being at the forefront of a couple of those years, but it's been great, and we're having a good time. People are starting to come back now to the Estuary as we start to fully open.
One of the things that I wanted to touch on was you and your background of you as a person. Did you know growing up that you'd like to be a part of the Estuary? Was it anything, are you from the area?
Yes, originally from Guilford. And when I was in school, I went to school for business. So I had a degree in accounting, and I went that route for a number of years, and it just wasn't satisfying. So I ended up in the nonprofit arena probably about 25, 30 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. Really got the satisfaction from the day's work. When you go home at the end of the day, you really feel like you were a part of something. You were building towards something. You were actually helping people, as opposed to being bottom line oriented. So in the job with the Estuary came along, and like I said, it's been 17 years, and we're still going.
Did you think that you'd be there that long?
I did not. You never think that far in advance, but life goes by quick, especially as you're getting older, as they say. We've had a lot of interesting changes over the years, and I'm just happy to be a part of it, and happy to put my stamp on it as we go forward.
As the controller moving over to executive director, what happened? What was that transition like? Being the controller, I got into a lot of different aspects of the organization. So my hands were sort of in the pie, so to speak. So I knew the nuts and bolts of the organization. So it was an easy transition for me to transition over to the executive director position. Now I'm responsible not only for the financial piece, but for the day-to-day operations. I've got a great staff, who is very helpful to me, makes my job a lot easier. And like I said, it's just been a wonderful ride for me. As the executive director title, what does that mean? What is your day like?
So each day is different. You never know what you're going to get, as you walk into the door. And as we hire different positions for the Estuary, that's one of the things I tell, prospective employees is that there's no typical day at the Estuary. Each day is different, and that's sort of the excitement of being around the Estuary. You never know what's going to happen.
You had mentioned in a newsletter, and I want to take you back to your private life,
Sure.
Beekeeping.
Yes.
Tell me about that. What's that like?
So that's very interesting. It's something I was always interested in, never really pulled the trigger. I decided one day to really get into it. And luckily for me, a beekeeper moved in next door to me, and a very experienced beekeeper. And it was a blessing because he was able to guide me through my first hive season. And first one didn't make it through the winter, unfortunately, but we tried again, and we're on track this year, and I hope to get some honey this fall, and the bees make it through this winter. So it's been a great experience. It's such a fun, fascinating. I didn't realize everything that went into beekeeping. There's a lot to it, but it's been fun and interesting.
Are you dressed in the full
regalia,
if you will?
I have. Some people wear just a jacket and a hood. I have a full body suit, so I'm not taking any chances. Gloves, bodysuit. I'm well protected. Your
newsletter that you send out every month has a letter from you. What does that mean to you to do that?
You know, I love that piece of it, you know, just having that, being able to have that voice and lend my voice to, the newsletter goes out to over 3,500 people a month. So it's great just to keep people informed, let them know what's going on, not only in my life, but in the life of the estuary, you know, and where we're headed. We can do things together through the newsletter. You know, I've even offered for people that read the Estuary Gazette to take over my newsletter if they have something they want to say to the 9 towns that we cover.
Let's talk about the estuary from a basic point of view. What does the estuary mean? What would people find when they go there?
So we have a bunch of wonderful programs. First and foremost is our nutrition program. So we do Meals on Wheels and congregate meals for the 9-town area. We have 4 cafe sites, one in Old Saybrook, which we serve lunch Monday through Friday. We have one in Old Lyme, which we serve lunch Monday through Friday. We have Killingworth Cafe, where we serve lunch on Wednesdays, and in Clinton, where we serve lunch on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's 12 to 12:30. We serve lunch every day. And our Meals on Wheels. Again, we do Meals on Wheels for the 9-town area. We feed over 350 people a day.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and we're on track this year between our congregate and our homebound meals to do over 90,000 meals.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is that part of your mission, is to be feeding people, if you will?
Yes, our mission is to keep people independent and in their homes, and to advocate for seniors. So the more that we can do to further that mission, and certainly senior nutrition is one of the big keys to being independent and being able to stay in your home.
When I was on your website today, and I'm only 59, you and I just talked about the senior status name really means people from the age of 50 on up to 105, it said.
That's correct.
So I mean, your audience is quite vast.
It's quite large, and we, you know, I always tell people, we have that audience. We have people that are 50 and we have people that are 100. So we have both ends of the spectrum that come to and use our facility. You know, not only just our Meals on Wheels program, but they're there using the gym, or they're taking a painting class, or they're playing mahjong or chess, or just coming in to socialize. You know, that's the real big thing of senior centers. You know, again, it's that stigma of the word senior center. You know, we've gone through a rebranding now where we're just known as the Estuary. You know, most people know us as the Estuary, but I think senior centers nationally are evolving. You know, seniors are living longer. You know, they're being more active. They want to do more things that stimulate the brain, stimulate their body. You know, and the more that we can do with the Estuary to help people to that end, I think, you know, is just a benefit.
The website.
Yes.
Tell us what the viewer will find when they go to the website.
So go to our website. All our programs are there. The latest newsletters are there. Whatever's coming up at the Estuary that month will be on our website. Contacts are there, so you can know if you want to contact our Meals on Wheels director, or myself, or our development director. Our names are listed there with our email address and phone number. So a lot of good information is found on the website.
How about people? I have many viewers that would like to go to the facility. Do they just show up? How do they get involved with the Estuary?
Yep, basically just show up, absolutely. You'll be greeted at our front desk. We have a brand new reception counter that we just built. Our lobby is bigger and brighter than it had been in the past, because we recently went through a renovation. But if you just come in our front doors, you'll be greeted by a volunteer, and that volunteer will get you going. We just ask that you sign up, a short little membership form, and we give you a little key, like your Stop and Shop card, that you scan every time you come in for whatever program or service that you're there for. And there's no fee to join, so you can partake in all our programs.
If somebody would like to apply to work at the Estuary, is there an application online? How does somebody get involved with the Estuary?
So the biggest way to get involved, and the best way to get involved, is through our volunteering. We have over 200 volunteers, which we could not accomplish our mission without our volunteers. I mean, everything from our front desk volunteers to our Meals on Wheels drivers and packers, our thrift shop. We have a different crew every day in our thrift shop that volunteers for us. So if we had to have all those people on the payroll, we just couldn't manage that. So we're grateful and very thankful to, again, over 200 volunteers. We're very lucky.
Tell us about your funding. Where does your money come from?
So we like to separate our funding into 4 different buckets. We get money through our nutrition program through the Older Americans Act, through which is called Title IIIC. So we're reimbursed roughly a third of every meal that we serve, either congregate or homebound. We have our fundraising, which includes our thrift shop. Thrift shop just moved down to Route 1, 889 Boston Post Road in Old Saybrook, from the facility from 220 Main Street in Old Saybrook, which has been great. We've been open since April of this year. Again, big, bright store. If you haven't been there, it's really something to see. So we get our fundraising money that each of the 9 towns contributes to our funding, and then individual donations. Again, wonderful support from the community, just supporting us, realizing what we do and how important it is for the lives of seniors, especially the homebound seniors.
Tell us about the renovation. I don't think that people really realize that you've gone through a renaissance.
Yes. So during COVID, we took the opportunity when we had to shut down programming, we never stopped our Meals on Wheels program. We kept delivering meals, our volunteers kept showing up, staff was still showing up. But we took the opportunity while there was some downside inside the building where you couldn't gather inside to renovate our lobby. So before, where there was one entrance inside the building, now we have a double sliding door, so touchless entry coming into the building. When you come into the building, again, like we talked about, there's a big, beautiful reception counter, which is staffed by volunteers. So you're greeted by a volunteer when you come in. And the lobby is just bigger and brighter, wonderful views of the North Cove where you can just sit, relax. Our outside, we've taken to modernizing our outside. It's more accessible now with a larger patio and a deck off our dining room. So if you want to have your lunch sitting outside, again, looking at those wonderful views, I mean, it's $1 million view of the North Cove. Or if you just want to sit and socialize or sit and have your coffee or read your paper, the outside is a wonderful place right now. So we were lucky during COVID to do some of the things that would just better the estuary.
Let's come back and talk about that.
Sure.
I'm Deborah Gilbert. You are tuned into Arts and Entertainment. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Smart TVs and streaming services have taken over the television industry. VSC TV is proud to announce our presence on Apple TV and Roku to make watching your favorite shows even easier. You can access this service by downloading the Cablecast ScreenWeave app. Then choose Valley Shore Community TV from the list of channels. Select VSC TV Live to watch our channel in full HD. Or pick a show from our on-demand video library. VSC TV is your local Connecticut Midshore Valley digital connection.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, thanks so much for being here. Well, I continue my conversation with Stan Mingione, the Executive Director of the Estuary, which is based in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. And Stan, we were talking during the break about the present and the future.
Yes.
What is the calendar looking like for 2022, 23, 24? Do you have plans?
We do. As we talked about before, senior centers are kind of evolving. Seniors are living longer. They want different things. They want to be more active, rather than just the senior centers of years past where there was just a card game or something along those lines. People want to actually be stimulated in terms of their mind, challenged with their body. So right now we at the Estuary feel the path forward for senior centers is the health and wellness piece. Keeping people healthy, keeping them active, because they're living longer, right? So to that end, where we used to have our thrift shop, that's now empty space for us. So that's sort of a blank canvas for us right now. So we'll be making that our health and wellness center, where we'll be having our massage services, haircutting salon, our social work services. We've added a social work program to the Estuary, which has just been invaluable for seniors in the 9 towns. Mental health has always been an issue for seniors. I think COVID has sort of brought that to the forefront. So now we're able to address some of those needs that the seniors have in terms of depression, isolation, loneliness, which is really something I'm excited about, that being able to bring that to the communities that we serve. But we have, in September of this year, we're having a purse auction, which is going to be quite some fun. August of this year, actually August 17th this month, we're having our luau dinner at 5 o'clock. So if people want to partake in that, they just have to call and make a reservation for our luau. It's a lot of fun. We have pulled pork dinner and a band, and it's really a fun event. In 24, the Estuary will be 50 years old. So we'll be ushering in the year in 24 with a lot of different events going on through that whole year, culminating at the end of our year, which is September 30th, with a big fundraiser, a black tie affair, to celebrate 50 years of the Estuary. So a lot going on at the Estuary. Again, we are fully open. We're going to expand our gym as well with the Health and Wellness Center. Our gym is very popular right now with Silver Sneakers members, just people wanting to work out with their peers. Not wanting to go to one of the bigger gyms where there's a lot of younger people. Sometimes it's a little intimidating. We have a wonderful personal trainer, so we're going to expand that area of our services. So we're just looking forward to renovating that space where the thrift shop was, and then hopefully in spring of 23 to open our wellness center.
Senior Center, you have mentioned several times. Is there a community, if you will, or an organization around the nation where you folks are a part of, or are you all independent?
That's a great question. Connecticut has what's called the Connecticut Association of Senior Center Personnel. So it's all the senior centers in Connecticut. We all get together pretty much monthly to talk about everything senior centers, what problems people are having, what successes people are having, and share ideas, bounce ideas off each other. So it's a wonderful network of people that are friends. We've all gotten to know each other over the years, and just a wonderful group where we can share ideas.
I think that the public may not realize that when they go to the building, they still need to wear a mask.
Absolutely, we're still wearing masks. I know that's a bone of contention for some people. And the reason we do that is because of our nutrition program. If we were to get contract traced back to the Estuary and have to shut down for a period of time, that would mean 350 people a day would not get their meal. So we're not willing to take that chance right now. We're just trying to err on the side of caution. The numbers are still up a little bit and rising in Connecticut. So we're trying to be safe for everybody and make sure everyone gets fed and really gets their vital nutrition services that we provide.
How did the Estuary do during the pandemic? I know I was a gym member and I couldn't go.
Right.
How were things happening in the building?
So we shut down all our programming except for our Meals on Wheels program. And we had to stop our congregate meals because we couldn't congregate inside. So we instituted a grab-and-go meal service where you can come by, drive by the front door, we'll put your meal in the car for you, and you can go home or you can go to the park and eat whatever you wanted to do. And that continues to this day. Even though we're back open and our congregate sites are open, the Meals on Wheels grab-and-go service was very popular, and it continues to this day. That's something we're proud of.
How about people who live outside of the 9-town area? Are they allowed to go to any facility? Are they allowed to go to Old Saybrook?
They are. Because of the Older Americans Act, anyone could come to our facility to eat lunch. We ask that you fill out a form, and that's how we get reimbursed for the meal. It's a bit of a cumbersome form. I think if I was designing it, I might design it a little bit better, but be that as it may, we just ask for your patience, fill out that form for us, and you can go, you can eat our meals, which are restaurant quality. The staff and myself, we eat the meals as well on a daily basis.
Oh, you do?
We do. We have a wonderful nutrition program.
The thought is the kitchen. How on earth, I mean, is it large? How on earth do you put out that many meals?
We have a large commercial kitchen. You know, it's not small by any means. We have a trained chef as our food service manager. We have a dietitian on staff, a registered dietitian. So if you have questions, you know, regarding healthy eating or how to eat during the cold months or the warmer months, or what you should be eating to gain some weight or to lose some weight, you know, she's a wonderful resource to have on our staff. The kitchen staff works well together. They each have each other's back, and again, they're pumping out almost 90,000 meals a year.
And the people that are driving those meals around, are they all volunteers?
They're all volunteers, yes. You know, again, we're so lucky because we could not do what we do without our volunteers, who come. You know, they didn't stop during the pandemic. They kept coming, you know, to serve the public.
What does an individual that would like to be able to participate in Meals on Wheels and receive a meal, how does somebody become part of that?
Sure. Yeah, you just
offering?
Call the Estuary, 860-388-1611, and ask for Laura, who's our registered dietitian. She will sign you up. She will get you that dreaded form that we talked about. She'll get it out to you so you can fill it out and get it back to her, and we'll start you up. Our meal service is for people 60 and older. Even though the Estuary, you can participate in any program. If you're 50 and over, our meal program, because of the Older Americans Act, it stipulates that it has to be 60 and over.
What does the future look like for the Estuary? I know that you've mentioned things in the calendar. I mean, do you have plans?
You know, again, the wellness piece, the health and wellness piece, I think is going to be huge. So I think that's the eye to the future of all senior centers, not only in Connecticut, but across the nation. You know, we're all looking, you know, if you kind of look around at senior centers in Connecticut, a lot of them are changing their name. Right? We already went through that rebranding process. You know, we've got a new, fresher logo. You know, we've shortened our name to the Estuary, and a lot of senior centers are doing that. You know, seniors, again, you know, living longer, wanting more out of their life, especially when they come to lunch. You know, they don't want the typical industrial setting of a meal. You know, they want to come and have a glass of wine with their meal. You know, not that we can serve wine. You know, I'd love to be able to do that, but we don't. But they want just a little bit more, and we're striving to give them and stay on top of what seniors want and what they're looking for.
You mentioned rebranding, which we haven't talked about.
Yep.
What happened? How did you do it?
So our branding was getting a little bit old, and as we talk about the word senior in our name, it became obvious to us that, you know, we want to encompass everyone. We want to be welcoming to everyone. We want everyone to feel that they can participate in our programs, and everyone knows us as the Estuary. We went through some focus groups and we tried different names that didn't really fit, but the name that people kept coming back to and what they kept calling us and what they knew us at was the Estuary. So that stuck, and we've got this wonderful brand right now, wonderful logo that we've built. It's bright, it's colorful, it's sort of an E with some waves in it for the shoreline area that we're in. It's really nice.
How about the people that are 50, 51, 52? How are you getting out to the public to let them know that they're allowed to be a part of your establishment as well?
Absolutely. Shows like this go a long way to do that. Word of mouth, you know, we have people that come in all the time that have just moved to Old Saybrook or just moved to one of the 9 towns, and they want to see what's around, and they come into and they don't realize all that we have to offer, and then they tell their friends, and then they're bringing friends in. We do, during the spring and summer months, we do what's called a chef's table dinner. It's our nutrition staff's able to showcase their talents a little bit. It's a 5-course dinner that they put on in the spring and summer, and we limit it to 30 people, so it's more of an intimate dinner. And there's 3 choices of entrees. There's a dessert and a main course, and people have loved it so much, they're bringing friends. Some of the people will call up and say, I want to bring 8 of my friends with me. So new people are starting to come to the Estuary, starting to see what we're about, and the programs that we have really are so enriching and so involved that people want to participate in it. And it's not, we don't have that stigma anymore of being someplace that they're not ready to come to yet.
You know what, this show deals with arts, entertainment, and culture, and I think that painting is something that you offer there.
Yes.
I don't think that people would think that you could paint there.
Exactly. We have a couple of painting classes, which are very well received. Bustling painting classes, people love it. Wonderful instructors as well. And it's that kind of thing where it's the arts or the entertainment. We have a band coming now that we're able to be outside on our new patio. We have different bands coming throughout the summer. So it's just more of a welcoming environment, more things that people can sort of use their mind and again use their body to challenge themselves.
Well, I want to thank you for coming. We've run out of time.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you, and thank you for coming on and sponsoring the show.
Oh, wonderful. We'll enjoy that.
Yes, we will. And I'll have you on next month.
Absolutely.
You've been tuned in Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert. Thanks so much for being here. If you have any questions, or if you think you might be a great guest, or if you have any desire to volunteer, I'd love to have you. Please contact me at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.